It's time for our Ask the Attorney segment. Personal injury attorney Stewart Vance from the Vance Law Firm in studio, ready to answer your legal questions. Stewart, you already know what I'm going to ask you.
I do.
You're a personal injury attorney. What does that mean?
That means, as it usually does every week, we handle cases where people have been injured by no fault of their own, Jasmine, whether it's a car wreck, fender bender, catastrophic crash where someone loses a life. Any way someone's been hurt, they should call us and ask us, because there may be some options that they aren't aware of how to get treatment, what kind of treatment, who pays first, what insurance company pays, when they pay, all those things that people don't want to worry about, shouldn't worry about until something happens, and then we try to make it as easy as we can for them to call us and get some advice.
We've seen a lot of wind in our forecasts the last couple of days, and that means the unofficial state bird, trampolines, are flying around in some neighborhoods. What happens if I have a trampoline, my kids have a trampoline in our backyard, it flies over the fence, hits something in my neighbor's yard? Am I responsible? Are they responsible? Do they have to file? How does that process work?
Yeah, typically your homeowners would cover that. There's usually a part of everyone's homeowner's policy that covers, and I don't know the proper, how it's the language in every one of them, but it's talking about swing sets, trampolines. A big one that flies around is the patio table with the umbrella, even if you have it. I think Josh posted from this weather, someone had their whole table and umbrella went into the swimming pool.
Ooh. So,
any of that kind of stuff, as you said, chairs, whatever that might be in the backyard that leaves your backyard and lands in somebody else's, usually homeowners would cover that.
We have a caller on the line from Montgomery. What's your question?
I've had materials in a storage building, actually, or household goods, for about 2 years. And it's a climate-controlled storage facility, and went to get them out, and there was some water damage, actually mold and mildew, and they're not willing to cover it, and I'm trying to find an attorney that will handle that case. What are your recommendations?
Well, I would say you're on the right track, looking for someone that specializes in that. That's always my first opinion, is get an expert. I don't know what the value is of the items you're talking about. What people don't realize a lot of times is in Alabama, the district court in each county has jurisdictional limits up to $20,000, and you don't have to have an attorney. So you could represent yourself, file a claim in district court in the county that you live in, and that's as simple as going to the courthouse, the clerk's office for a district court, and file that claim. They get you a date pretty quick. You go in, the district judges are, all the counties that I've been in most of them, are very people friendly. They're from that community. They're going to listen to what happened, and they're going to give you a pretty fair ruling pretty quickly. So that's a quick way to do it. If not, reach out to the state bar would be my advice. 334-269-1515. They have a lawyer referral service there.
Who should he look to hire if he wants to hire?
Yeah, I would say somebody that deals with property damage, but here the rub is going to be, lawyers are going to go, wait a minute, is it going to cost you as much as whatever the property's worth to hire the attorney to do it? Sometimes in a property damage claim, that's the issue. Like I deal with car wrecks. If a person's not hurt and it's just the car damage and they're disputing and they end up suing for the car damage, the law in our state doesn't allow for attorney's fees. It doesn't allow for any excess above the value of the car. So it's really tough to take a case for someone and go, help them get the money for their car that's been damaged, because they're not. If I take a fee out of what we collect, they're not going to have enough to fix the car. So it's a vicious cycle. And I don't know what he had in the storage unit, but the same thing could apply. That, gosh, if he's got to now hire a lawyer to go, try to get back, about $10,000 worth of damaged items, it may be easier to take that route of going to district court and represent yourself than you're not paying a lawyer.
We have another caller on the line, Claire from Wetumpka. Claire, what's your question? Hey, Claire, what's your question?
Once a lawsuit is filed, how long does it take for a case to be settled?
So I think our question is, once a lawsuit is filed, how long does it take for a case to be settled? I think I know what the answer is going to be, but I will let Stewart, the expert, go ahead and answer this question.
Right. We don't want you practicing law without a license
no.
up here. Yeah, that's a tough question because it depends on so many different factors. It depends on the type of case, where it's filed, the judge's docket, how many cases the judge has on his or her dockets, any number of things. In most counties, criminal cases take up the majority of the judge's time. Dockets, their court load, everything is typically, the criminal stuff comes first. Civil cases, which is what we handle, anything that's not breaking a law criminally, falls under civil. And civil cases, judges typically have limited weeks that they hear civil court cases. And so once you file a case, it then gets on the timeline of the judge in the county where you filed it, and that can slow things down. It could speed things up. Some judges are really quick, and they get their stuff moving as quick as they can. She mentioned settlement. We settle a lot of cases we never file a lawsuit on. So when people call us, or if they're afraid to call us because they don't want to be in a lawsuit, we handle lots of cases that there's never a lawsuit. We get involved and we sort out the merits of the claim. We then reach out to the company or the insurance company, whoever it might be, and we were able to resolve the matter for the client without filing a lawsuit. The lawsuit is really the only leverage we have as attorneys, because that's where we can take it to the court and argue on behalf of our clients. And ultimately, if you can't get it resolved once you file it, then there'd be a court date set. So to her question, gosh, if it's already been filed, you've protected your statute, which is a good reason to get it filed. So now whether it takes 12 months, 24 months, 30, on out, it could take a long time. Most judges, most cases we file 12 to 18 months. But that's just a ballpark. I've seen some, we've had some that have been filed, and for whatever reason, things get continued, things get moved, judges have to change their dockets. It could go out much longer than that. So you were right. I'm sure you were thinking the same thing. It depends, and there's no set time.
It depends on the type of case
That's
and
exactly
where you
right.
are and how many parties are involved, all of the things.
That's exactly right.